So welcome back. This is the first lecture of income from house property assessment year 2022-23, and this is for CMA intermediate December 2022 attempt. Okay. Applicable Finance Act is Finance Act 2021. So let's start with income from house property. Okay. Now, first of all, okay, this is basically for rental income. In general, from a common man's perspective, this head of income, which is income from house property, is for the rental income. Okay, so now we'll see the charging section now. First of all, okay, it says that annual value of a property. Okay, annual value of a property consisting of any buildings or land appurtenant thereto. Okay, land appurtenant means many in independent houses and all, along with your building there is some land with it, correct? So it refers to that, of which the SSC is the owner. So SSC should be the owner of that property. Okay, and then other than portion occupied for own business or profession is chargeable under this head. Okay, so the last two sentences, what it is saying is, if the person is using that property for his own business or profession, okay, then that is not chargeable under house property. It's chargeable under PGBP. Okay, and here you can see, because here we have used annual value. That means earning capacity is taxable and not actual income. Okay, it's not the actual rent which is taxable, it is the earning capacity. Okay, तो यहाँ पे हम ये देख रहे हैं कि सबसे पहले आपका ये इनकम फ्रॉम हाउस प्रॉपर्टी हेड है, ये हम रेंटल इनकम के लिए ये हेड यूज करते हैं। ओके, तो यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे जो पहला जो सेंटेंस है ये चार्जिंग सेक्शन है, सेक्शन 22। ये क्या बोलता है हमको कि एनुअल वैल्यू ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी, ओके, कंसिस्टिंग ऑफ एनी बिल्डिंग और लैंड अपरटेनेंट thereto। ओके, यानी लैंड अपरटेनेंट का मतलब है जो आंगन बोलते हैं हम लोग, जैसे वो है लैंड अपरटेनेंट। ओके, इंडिपेंडेंट हाउसेस में कुछ आंगन होता है लग के, करेक्ट, हो गया आपका लैंड अपरटेनेंट thereto। सो किस चीज पे आपका हाउस प्रॉपर्टी लगता है? किसी बिल्डिंग पे और बिल्डिंग के साथ जुड़े हुए लैंड। ओके, सेपरेट लैंड नहीं बोल रहा है, बिल्डिंग के साथ जो लैंड जुड़ा है उसी की बात कर रहे हैं। ओके, और यहाँ एसएससी उसका ओनर होना चाहिए। ठीक है, द पर्सन शुड बी द ओनर ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड देन लास्ट 2 पॉइंट्स में ये बोला है कि अगर वो अपने खुद के बिजनेस के लिए यूज कर रहा है घर, तो वो इनकम फ्रॉम हाउस प्रॉपर्टी से में टैक्सेबल नहीं होता, वो पीजीबीपी में होता है। तो ये सारे पॉइंट्स हैं इसमें। ओके, सो दीज आर द मेन पॉइंट्स। And here last point, in the last point we have seen that earning capacity is taxable, okay, and not actual income. Okay, actual income is one of the feeders, but you've got 3-4 things, and then out of that you find out your income from house property. So basically you are seeing the earning capacity, okay, not what you have actually received. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे so again we will discuss the same thing in point wise manner, this one whatever we discussed here. ठीक है, the chargeability section 22. okay, so annual value of property shall be taxable subject to, number 1, there must be a house property. So house property, what will be there in house property? Building or land appurtenant thereto. First thing is there must be a house property, okay, which means building or land appurtenant thereto. Land appurtenant thereto is adjacent land along with your house. Okay, it's not an independent plot. Okay, mind you, independent plot is taxable as income from other sources. This is land along with the building. Okay, second is owner. SSC must be the owner, including deemed owner. So we'll see what is deemed owner. Okay, so the owner is taxed. Third point, which we saw in that definition above, charging section is not used for taxable business or profession carried on by the owner. Okay, It should, if it is used, then that will be taxable as income from PGBP, profit and gains of business or profession. Okay. So these are the 3 points which are important for chargeability. Okay. It must be a property consisting of building or land appurtenant thereto. SSE must be the owner. Property should not be used for his own business or profession. Okay. So now one by one, we'll just see expansions of this. First of all, building or land appurtenant thereto. Okay. What does this mean? Okay. Building or land appurtenant thereto. Any land surrounded by wall having roof or not. Okay. So for example, in stadiums and all, you don't have a roof. Okay. But still it is building. Okay. So any land surrounded by wall having roof or not will be treated as a building. Okay. Or any land appurtenant to a building. Okay. Any of these two will be treated as building or land appurtenant thereto. So please be on mute, all of you. So here, so first thing is what we saw is building or land appurtenant thereto. Okay. So what comes under this is any land surrounded by wall having roof or not. Okay. Roof is important for residential properties, but not for non-residential. Okay. Like your swimming pool, that is also a building. Okay. For the purpose of this section. Second is, of course, the general definition, which we know, land appurtenant to a building. Okay. So, and then let's see some other things here. Building includes, these are all basically some court cases. Okay. Now I'm just going to show you certain points based on some court cases. Okay. That what were held as building during various cases. So first one is building includes an enclosure of bricks, stonework, or even mud walls. Okay, even mud hut is a building. Okay, this is one. Then it includes residential as well as commercial houses. Okay. Then vacant land is not a house property. Vacant land, if any rent is received for vacant land, it is chargeable as income from other sources. Hence, income from letting of vacant land is business income or income from other sources. Normally, it will be income from other sources. But if it is his business of letting such plots and getting income, then it will be business income. Okay. But for a normal point of view, it will be income from other sources. Okay. IOS. Right. And then roof is not necessary for a non-residential house property. For residential, roof is necessary. Okay. But non-residential property, roof is not necessary. Okay. Examples are stadium or open air swimming pool. Okay. They have been held to be building in various court cases. Then it must be a permanent structure meant for a useful purpose. Okay. It must be a permanent structure, basically, not temporary one. Okay. This is one observation which was received. Then if a building consists of several flats, okay, then each flat is income separate house property. Right? We all know that because in apartments and all, each of your flats, it is a separate house property, correct? So that's what is being mentioned. An incomplete, ruined or demolished house is not a house property. So anything which you cannot use and get rent, say if you have property but it has no value for rent, okay, then it will not be treated as house property. Okay. Incomplete, ruined or demolished house which cannot be used for dwelling. Okay. Then land appurtenant also includes here in apartments, car parking area, approach roads and all that. All those form part of land appurtenant to a building. Okay. Right. So these are the things. So ये सारी जो चीजें मैंने अभी बताया आपको, ये सब अलग अलग कोर्ट केसेस में इसको बिल्डिंग माना गया है. ठीक है. पहला वाला था कि बोल रहा है कि इवन मर्ड का भी जो है वो भी बिल्डिंग माना गया है, मट्टी का. और रेजिडेंशियल एज वेल एज कमर्शियल, वेकेंट लैंड इज नॉट हाउस प्रॉपर्टी. प्लॉट जो है हाउस प्रॉपर्टी नहीं होता. लेकिन आपके घर से जुड़ा हुआ जो जमीन है वो होता है उस प्रॉपर्टी। ओके, सो रूफ जो है, जो छत है, वो नॉट एसेंशियल फॉर नॉन रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टी। ओके, बट इज एसेंशियल फॉर रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टी। और फिर फ्लैट्स में वी ऑल नो दैट ईच फ्लैट will have its own value. It's considered as house property, each of the flat. Okay, और जो इनकम्प्लीट ruined और demolished house है जिसका आपको किराया मिल नहीं सकता, ओके, ऐसा जो चीज है उसको आपको हाउस प्रॉपर्टी नहीं माना जाएगा। ओके, सो देन ओके, मान लीजिए जैसे ये इस केस में मैं बता रहा हूँ कि आपका कोई घर वर है या किसी ने तोड़ दिया है या कोई रायट या किसी में टूट गया है, ठीक है, अभी आधा टूटा है, वो पड़ा है ऐसे आपका घर, ठीक है, आपको किराए में तो कोई लेगा नहीं आपको। फिर गवर्नमेंट अगर बोले कि नहीं इसका नोशनल रेंट लगाएंगे, दैट इज नॉट फेयर, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई इनकम्प्लीट रूइंड और डेमोलिश्ड हाउस इज नॉट हाउस प्रॉपर्टी। ठीक है, फिर नेक्स्ट है जो आपका जो फ्लैट्स वगैरह में जो कार पार्किंग, अप्रोच रोड, ये सब जो होता है वो सब लैंड अपर्टेनेंट टू बिल्डिंग होता है। ओके, so now so this was about building or land appertinent thereto. Okay, the next point was owner, right? So it is taxable only in the hands of the owner even if he doesn't receive the income. ठीक है, अगर इनकम भले ही कोई और कलेक्ट कर रहा है उसके बिहाफ में, उसका एजेंट या anyone else is correcting, but still the owner is, it is taxable only in the hands of owner, rental income. Okay, so any person other than owner, even though he is in receipt of rent, shall not be liable to tax. ठीक है, under house property, right? So it's the owner is very important, ownership. ठीक है, so इसीलिए इनकम फ्रॉम सबलेटिंग का क्या मतलब होता है कि मैंने मेरा घर किराए में दे दिया और किसी को, उसने और किसी को दे दिया किराए में। ओके, दैट इज कॉल्ड सबलेटिंग मींस I have let out the house to someone else, that person is now further letting it out to someone else, so the tenant is letting it out. Okay, that's called subletting. And so subletting income is chargeable to tax under income from other sources, not house property. Now if you see this, T is tenant, monthly rent 10,000. O is owner. Okay, so T sublets the property to Z for monthly rent of 12,000. So what he has earned, he is paying 10,000, he is earning 12,000, so 2,000 net he has earned, right? So that's why the subletting income here of 2,000 per month is business income or income from other sources. Okay, in most normal cases it will be income from other sources. Okay, not income from house property.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yes, Kanagraj.
Sir, the subletting being 2,000 per month, he gets now.
1 minute.
In this example, Mr. T.
1 minute, I am adjusting my volume. I'm not able to hear. Yeah, please. Yeah, Kanagraj, go on.
Sir, the subletting 2,000 per month got is being IOS, sir.
Yeah.
IOS for whom? The owner or subletting tenant?
No, the 2,000 profit is for whom?
Yeah.
2,000.
Who is liable to tax?
So
Owner or tenant?
2,000 is profit for
Tenant only, no?
tenant only. So it will be taxable for tenant only.
Okay.
So whoever has that profit,
okay,
that person only will be charged to tax.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So then now we will see certain, okay, now owner includes legal owner, beneficial owner and deemed owner. Okay, that 3 types of owners: legal owner, beneficial owner and deemed owner. So let us see one by one. Legal owner is what we all know. When you buy a property, you register it in your name, you become a legal owner. Okay, so basically you can, it's the registration act through which we get registration in most of the cases. Sometimes when the deal is not fully complete, Transfer of Property Act applies. Okay, where um, some part of payment is yet to be done, but the possession is given. In that cases, Transfer of Property Act applies. Okay, otherwise Registration Act applies. That is legal owner. That's what we all know. In general, legal owner is the owner. Okay. Now next is beneficial owner. Okay, sometimes it is not necessary that property must be registered in the assessee's name. If he is enjoying the property as owner to full extent, beneficial owner, then he is beneficial owner. For example, what happens here in there are many mutual schemes and all, okay, where, okay, say for example here you can see there's a society, okay, say the society has 100 members, so they collect money from each member, okay, 20 lakhs from each member, okay, and so total amount collected will be 2000 lakhs, correct? Okay, 2000 lakhs is collected. Then say they will buy a plot and they will build build houses for all their members, okay, and then they'll allot to the members. So in this case, what happens is the ownership of the property is registered in the name of the society. Okay, it's registered in its name. Okay, but what happens is, although it is registered in the name of the society, each of these members, they will be owners of one house there. Each of 100 members will get one house. Okay, so but the whole scheme is registered in the name of the society. In such cases, for house property purpose, the society will not be taxed. The individual members will be taxed, whoever have got the house. Okay, so that is the meaning of beneficial owner. Okay, so they have all the rights. Such beneficial owners, they can sell their house. They have all rights of an owner. Okay, but because they have purchased it through such scheme, so overall the entire property, okay, is in the name of the registered owner is the society there. Okay, so in this case also, who will be taxed? The real owner of the flat will be taxed. That is the member, right? So this is what is called as beneficial owner. ठीक है, तो यहाँ तक हमने ये देखे अभी ओनरशिप के टाइप्स हम देख रहे थे. वन इज लीगल ओनर, बेनिफिशियल ओनर एंड डीम्ड ओनर. ठीक है, लीगल ओनर है जो हम रजिस्ट्रेशन करा लेते हैं, वो लीगल ओनर है. आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट और या ट्रांसफर ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी एक्ट के थ्रू वो कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, और बेनिफिशियल ओनर वो है कि जैसे मैंने अभी बताया, अभी एक्सप्लेन किया आपको, ये ऐसे कुछ सोसाइटी ऐसे स्कीम्स होते हैं, इसमें कुछ लोग साथ आते हैं और सब मिलके कॉमनली एक ये खरीदते हैं फ्लैट. ओके, सबको एक एक फ्लैट मिल जाता है इसमें. ओके, सो लेकिन जो सोसाइटी इन ऑल ओवरऑल रजिस्टर्ड रहती है सोसाइटी के नाम. इज रजिस्टर्ड, द एंटायर स्कीम इज रजिस्टर्ड इन द नेम ऑफ द सोसाइटी. तो ऐसे केस में दिस इंडिविजुअल मेंबर विल बी द ओनर. ओके, ही विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज ओनर फॉर हाउस प्रॉपर्टी. ठीक है, इसके घर का टैक्स है सोसाइटी से थोड़ी लेंगे, करेक्ट, इसी से लेंगे ना. सो that is the thing. Second one, beneficial owner. Third one is called fictional owner or deemed owner. Okay, remember this, the name is fictional owner or deemed owner. Okay, so it is normally called as deemed owner. So normally students forget that it is also called as fictional owner. Okay, sometimes in your objective types and all, they will use these words which are not normally used. Whenever there are 2-3 names of one thing, they will use those names which are not commonly used, like fictional owner here. Okay, so you should be able to identify whenever somebody says fictional owner that it is deemed owner they're talking about. Okay, in the below cases, a person shall be treated as deemed owner of the property. Okay, let's see. And liable to tax. In such case, more important point is, if you have become a deemed owner of a property, there will be, if there is a legal owner or a beneficial owner, he will not be liable to tax. A deemed owner will take precedence in house property taxation. Okay, so deemed owner अगला ये है, इसको fictional owner भी कहा जाता है. दोनों नाम याद रखना है. तो अगर ये नीचे हम 5 पॉइंट्स देखेंगे जिसमें आपको ये पता चलेगा कि व्हेन अ पर्सन शैल बी ट्रीटेड एज डीम्ड ओनर। ओके, ये हमको पता चलेगा। ये याद रखना है, अगर आप डीम्ड ओनर बन गए तो उस केस में लीगल ओनर और बेनिफिशियल ओनर ये लोग टैक्स नहीं होते। डीम्ड ओनर ही फर्स्ट आ जाता है ओनरशिप केस। ओके, अगर डीम्ड ओनर है तो डीम्ड ओनर विल बी टैक्स, नॉट द अदर्स। Okay, so chalo, let's see who are the deemed owners. We'll start. The first one is transfer to spouse or minor child. To spouse or minor child. So transfer by a person to spouse or minor child. Okay, और इन दोनों में there is one exception. Okay, spouse में not due to agreement to live apart. Spouse it is not due to agreement to live apart, and it should not be for divorce settlement. Okay, not for divorce settlement. Or for minor child, it should not be a minor married daughter. Okay, these two are exceptions. Now why, when we are, why these exceptions are there, if you, the logic also I'll explain it to you. See, if many times what happens that persons, they want to escape taxation of house property, so they transfer their house to their spouse or minor child's name. Okay, so that is why, one minute. So now here, transfer to spouse or minor child. Okay, what happens here is, okay, many times people transfer property to their spouse or minor child to escape tax. Okay, so now such tax has to be brought to book in the hands of the proper person. Okay, which is, that's why the person who has transferred, he is treated as deemed owner. Okay, let us say that, yeah, this is the person, okay, who has transferred this house to his spouse. Okay, because he's already in high tax bracket, 30% tax bracket, and his spouse is not earning anything. So if he transfers the rent to this spouse, that is basically, if he transfers the house to this person and shows the rent in the name of the spouse or minor child, then he can be saved of tax. Okay, so that is basically why people do this. Now here, okay, so that's why what government said is, if this happens, then you will be treated as deemed owner. This person will be treated as deemed owner, and the rent will be chargeable to tax in the hands of the deemed owner. Okay, not in the hands of the registered owner. And here registered owner is spouse or minor child. ठीक है, ये पॉइंट समझ में है। अब ये मैं बताता हूं इसमें साथ साथ में एक और चीज, ओके, कि यहाँ पे जो मैंने 2 एक्सेप्शंस अंडरलाइन किया है, ठीक है, तो ये सेक्शन डालने का मकसद क्या है? व्हाई वाज दिस सेक्शन पुट? जस्ट टू मेक श्योर दैट द पर्सन is just on paper showing that the house belongs to his spouse or minor child, correct? Okay, then he is being charged. But if it is a divorce settlement, अगर divorce settlement है तो क्या ये पैसे का बेनिफिट इस आदमी को मिलेगा? Now this person, same thing, again you have this person, okay, he is given it to his spouse under a divorce settlement. Now the rent benefit will go to the spouse, right? So now it is not that case that he is just showing the name under this. Okay, wait, I'll come back to you. ठीक है, पॉइंट कंप्लीट हो जाए, जो आधा चल रहा है इसको पूरा करके मैं वापस आता हूँ क्वेश्चंस में। ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा यार, व्हाट विल हैपन इन दिस केस? So here if it is a divorce settlement, ठीक है, अगर ये आपका डिवोर्स सेटलमेंट है के तहत वो कर रहा है, तब इसको उसका कुछ बेनिफिट नहीं मिल, जो हाउस दिया है वो तो उसके हाथ से चला गया पूरा, उसको कुछ बेनिफिट नहीं मिल रहा है। ओके, द हाउस व्हिच ही हैज गिवन हैज बेसिकली गॉन आउट ऑफ हिज हैंड. सो डू यू थिंक इट इज प्रॉपर टू then put this section? ठीक है, जो कुछ चीज जो एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूं पहले आप पूरा सुन लो, ठीक है, नहीं तो आप दूसरा चीज पूछने के पीछे जाओगे तो जो पॉइंट मैं समझा रहा हूं मैं वो आपका मिस हो जाए। ओके, मैं आपको कुछ आई एम ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन यू सम इंपॉर्टेंट लॉजिक हियर। ओके, सो गॉट द पॉइंट और नॉट, यस नो? Everyone else understood what I am trying to say here? समझा
Yes,
नहीं
sir.
समझा?
समझा सर.
हाँ, ओके, right. So here, okay, this is the reason why you all go just silent fully. So I fail to understand whether you have understood or not. So here now you understood why we have why this exception is there, not due to agreement to live apart, because here this person is not getting any benefit. Okay, the property is actually gone out of his hands. So we are only putting this section where the income is still being in the person's hands. He's just showing it in someone else's name. Okay, same is the case of minor daughter. When your my daughter has been married, okay, then her property, everything, the benefit will go to her guardian, which will be her husband. Okay, so which is why you have these two cases. हाँ, चलिए अभी आप पूछिए, रौनक क्या क्वेश्चन था आपका?
Sir, would this be a good example of tax avoidance? Transfer to spouse or minor child?
Yes, it can be. It can be an example of tax avoidance.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, and actually speaking, what would have happened? No, these you are seeing all these sections. Okay, these sections have been built gradually. Sub ekdam starting se from 1961 you didn't have all of these. Okay, gradually certain things have been done. कुछ लोगों ने ऐसे किए होंगे, spouse or they would have put it in spouse or minor child ऐसा करके tax avoid किए होंगे. So the amendments would have come, and now we have got a more organized section. Okay, so chalo, first is transfer to spouse or minor child. Okay, one thing important is it should be without adequate consideration. Okay, very much important, without adequate consideration. So for example, what will happen? A 5 lakhs house property, okay, is being transferred for 50,000. Okay, this would be transfer for inadequate consideration or transfer without adequate consideration. Okay, ठीक है, then transferor will be the deemed owner. समझ में आ गया? Right, so अब ये see this example. Okay, so Mr. X transfers this house property for 5 lakhs to Mrs. X out of love and affection. Okay, now inadequate consideration can be zero also. Okay, जरूरी नहीं कि कुछ पैसे दे वो. Okay, can be for free also. Okay, so Mr. X transfers house property of 5 lakhs to Mrs. X. Mrs. X is legal owner, but Mr. X will be liable to taxes deemed owner. Okay, okay, right? So what he'll be liable to tax for the rent? Basically, we're talking of the rent here, right? So till the rent comes, there is no income, right? Just because he has transferred it to his house, it will not, the income will not be taxed under house property. Okay, there has to be some income. When the assessment is done, okay, Mr. X will be taxable. Okay, ठीक है. अच्छा, यहाँ पे ये है एक वन मोर पॉइंट इज ये जो हो रहा है इसका बेसिक प्रेमिस क्या है? व्हाट इज द बेसिक प्रेमिस हियर? दैट इट इज द स्पाउस, द ट्रांसफर इज बीइंग मेड टू स्पाउस. ठीक है, तो वो स्पाउस होना चाहिए, करेक्ट? ओनली देन। यहाँ पे दो चीजें हमने देखे, वी हैव सीन टू थिंग्स. One is the person would have transferred the house property. One date, okay, he has transferred the house property. Another date will be when some income would have come on the house property, say rent, for example. Correct? These two dates. So on both these dates, that husband wife relation should be there. Okay, that is important. So marriage should subsist on both days. That is day of transfer as well as day when income arises. Okay. Okay, and yeah, here there's one more point, that the property which is transferred must be a house property. Okay, so if Mr. X transfers cash to Mrs. X and then she buys a house, then this section will not be invoked. Section 27(1) will not be attracted here. Okay, but it comes under your clubbing of income and gets clubbed. That is something which we will study later on. Okay, right? So remember here that just see these two examples. First one is house property is excuse me, house property worth 5 lakhs was transferred. Okay. Second is he has transferred 5 lakhs. Okay. So in first case he is deemed owner. In second case he is not deemed owner. Understood? Of this 5 lakhs, his wife then bought a house here. Okay, wife purchased house property. So he is not deemed owner. First case will be taxed under income from house property. In second case, it will not be taxed under any head, but the income of the wife, what will be computed, it will be clubbed in the hands of the husband. This is something what we will be learning much later after your heads of income is complete. Okay. Then that is the first case, transfer to spouse or minor child for inadequate consideration. First case of deemed owner. Second is holder of impartible estate. Okay, so first thing you should understand, what is an impartible estate? It's property which is not legally divisible, succeeded by grant or covenant. Okay, and holder of impartible estate is the deemed owner. Okay, so here what happens is, see, I'll tell you what is an impartible estate. Okay. What happens sometimes, you get a property, say from your dad. Okay. From your father, you have got a property. Okay. It's a huge property. Let us say this is a big property you have got. But say your father had a widowed sister. Okay. He wanted to make sure that she doesn't go homeless till she is alive. ओके, तो यहाँ पे जैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल बता रहा हूँ कि इसका जो करंट केस हम ये बोल रहे हैं इम्पार्टिबल एस्टेट करके, उसका मैं एग्जांपल बता रहा हूँ. मान लीजिए आपको यू हैव गॉट ऑन विल, आपको एक प्रॉपर्टी मिली, बहुत बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी आपके डैड से. ओके, नो डैड हैज अ widowed sister. ठीक है, he wanted that चलो till the end of his life she should not be homeless. ठीक है, तो डैड ने क्या सोचा कि हाँ इतना जगह में वो रह रही है पहले सपोज, तो उन्होंने ये बोल दिया कि पूरा घर तो मेरे बेटे का है, लीगल ओनर इज माय सन, बट दिस पार्ट, ये पार्ट में अथॉरिटी रहेगी मेरे सिस्टर की. इज नॉट गिविंग अथॉरिटी टू हर टू सेल और एनीथिंग. होल प्रॉपर्टी इज हिज सन्स, बट ही इज जस्ट मेकिंग श्योर दैट कि ये जो है उसकी उनके सिस्टर को यहां से कोई निकाल नहीं सकेगा जब तक कि वो है. यू गेटिंग द पॉइंट? तो इस टाइप की जो प्रॉपर्टी होती है जिसको आप जैसे बेच नहीं सकते हैं भी कभी, ये आदमी ये है, ये पार्ट को बेच नहीं सकेगा. ओके, सो आफ्टर दिस पर्सन डाइज, आफ्टर दैट इट विल कम टू हिम ऑटोमेटिकली. सो इस टाइप की चीजों को इम्पार्टिबल एस्टेट बोलते हैं. ठीक है, यानी जहां है तो ये सारी चीज का ओनरशिप एक के पास है, बट कुछ एरिया का राइट उसके पास नहीं. ओके, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज इम्पार्टिबल एस्टेट. सो अब यहाँ पे बात ये आ रही है, अब हाउस प्रॉपर्टी का टैक्स अगर लेना है, ओके, गवर्नमेंट क्या whether government will come to this aunty to get tax of this area? No, government will consider for the whole area the son to be the owner, because he is the holder of the impartible estate. ठीक है, समझ में आ गया? ओके, ये होता है impartible estate.
सर
ये
एक बार एक्सप्लेन करेंगे और एक बार?
देखो इसमें क्या होता है कि जो मैंने सबसे पहले आपको ये वाला जो स्क्वायर बनाया हूं वायलेट कलर में, ठीक है, ये आपको आपका घर है, ये आपको विरासत में मिला है. ओके
ओके सर.
ठीक है. तो अब यहाँ पे जो है क्या होता है, कभी कभी जो जो विल करते हैं ना लोग, विल में कुछ, क्योंकि उनको ये लगता है कि चलो मेरे जाने के बाद में भी बेटा बेटा बेच देगा पूरा, तो क्या होगा, अगर कुछ और एल्डर्स है, डिपेंडेंट्स है, तो उनके एरिया को विल में फ्रीज कर देते हो कि इतना पार्ट जो है नहीं बेच सकेगा मेरा बेटा करके. ओके, बट वंस दिस पर्सन डाइज, ओके, ये पर्सन के पास ट्रांसफरिंग अथॉरिटी नहीं होता. ठीक है, वंस ही डाइज इट विल कम टू दिस सन, ओनरशिप इज सन्स, बट ही विल नॉट बी एबल टू सेल इट इन द लाइफ टाइम. ठीक है, ऐसे कई कई जगह आप लोगों ने सुने होंगे या नहीं, आई डोंट नो, बट थिंग्स लाइक दिस एग्जिस्ट. आई हैव आल्सो seen such things. Okay, where so this happens particularly in case of will. जब बहुत बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी जब रहती है ना, तो खासकर जो राजा रजवाड़ा वाला इन लोग का बहुत बड़ी बड़ी प्रॉपर्टी रहती है, there are many relatives. Okay, many times they have got many wives and all, correct? तो तब जो है they just make sure कि वो लोग बेघर न हो जाए करके. Okay, when I die, then some important people, they should not become homeless. So although the whole property will go to the prince in the end, okay, but he will not be able to evict certain people. Okay, that is the concept of impartible estate ka ye concept hai. Now we are studying from the point of view of house property. So what I am saying is in impartible estate also, for house property, for the whole thing, taxation will be done on the लीगल एयर. ठीक है, तो जो बेटा है जिसको ये पूरा मिला है जायदाद, टैक्सेशन उसको जाएगा, नॉट टू दैट पर्सन हु लिव्स इन दिस पार्ट ऑफ द इम्पार्टेबल एस्टेट. ओके, क्लियर?
हाँ सर.
चलो, सो दिस इज कॉल्ड योर इम्पार्टेबल एस्टेट. ओके, तो दो चीजें हो गई. पहला क्या हो गया, स्पाउस और माइनर चाइल्ड फॉर इनएडिक्वेट कंसिडरेशन, holder of impartible estate. Okay, both these are deemed owners. Okay, third is property held by member of company, society or other association. So okay, so property held by member of company, society or other association. ठीक है, to whom building is leased under a house building scheme. So this is actually जो मैंने आपको, I had given you an example of society, right? यहाँ पे जो मैंने society जो बताया था, ये this one, correct? So similarly there are many real estate companies who do this thing. Okay, so if they, in place of society, if this is a real estate company, so here what they will do is they will sell shares. Okay, they will sell shares and based on your shareholding you will get houses. ठीक है, same thing, पूरा जो यही रहेगा कि जैसे कंपनी will sell shares, it will collect money. ठीक है, so suppose there are 100 members of the company, again same thing पकड़ लो सर, it will collect money from all of them. Okay, and based on their shareholding, and then out of that money they will build a property. ठीक है, प्रॉपर्टी बनाएंगे और बेस्ड ऑन दैट देयर शेयर होल्डिंग दे विल अलॉट प्रॉपर्टीज. ठीक है, ये होता है, ये सेम थिंग इज happens for a real estate company as well. Okay, so we are referring to that property held by a member of company, society or other association. Okay, then this person, ठीक है, यहाँ भी जैसे पहले सोसाइटी के नाम में था, यहाँ पे भी घर, in certain cases it is in the name of the real estate company. So but for the house, the person who owns that particular unit, he will be deemed owner. Same point I will do. वहां पे it was society, here it is real estate company. That's all. Okay, so you have property held by a member of company, society or other association, he will become deemed owner. Okay, this is just to make sure that the person who is owning that house, okay, he is paying the rent. Then next is person was acquired a property under 53A of the Transfer of Property Act. So जैसे हमने ऊपर देखे थे, there are two basic acts for getting the property registered in your name. Okay, one is registration, where you will get it registered. Another name by which you can become a owner of the property is Transfer of Property Act. Okay, person is allowed to take or retain possession of a building under 53 capital A of Transfer of Property Act. He'll become a deemed owner. So what is this? इसमें ये होता है, देखिए आपने you liked a property of 50 lakhs. ठीक है, 50 lakhs property and it is a flat. Okay, so you have gone to the builder, you told the builder that I'll pay you 30 lakhs now. I'll pay you 30 lakhs. You have not paid the full amount and you have taken possession and you have told the builder, I'll give you 30 lakhs. Let me start staying there. Okay, so whenever you do registration, so let us do, we'll agree something, let us do registration after 6 months, let us. Okay, let us do registration after 6 months. ठीक है, और तब मैं आपको बैलेंस 20 lakhs दे दूंगा. ओके, समथिंग लाइक दैट. ये इस तरह का एग्रीमेंट होता है काफी, जो है where people give a major portion of the amount and they take possession. Okay, so in this case, now the person who has started living here after paying 30 lakhs, now registration rights is still with the builder. जब वो ये बैलेंस 20 lakhs देगा तभी ये बिल्डर पूरा उसके नाम पे रजिस्टर करके देगा. ओके, the builder will register in the name of the purchaser only after he has paid the full amount. Okay, so now the person who is staying here, he is not the registered owner, correct? Not registered owner. So after 6 months he'll become registered owner. Okay, now he is not registered owner. Okay, but he has started staying here, so he is using complete ownership rights. He is staying in that property. Who should pay the rent, builder or this person? Who should pay the rent, do you think?
Not registered owner.
This person should pay, correct? So that is why this person has been deemed to be deemed owner. Okay, इसलिए बोला जा रहा है कि he is the deemed owner. Otherwise, because he is a registered owner, tax burden will come on him, no, which is not correct. So which is why this person is deemed owner. Okay, ये है आपका point 4. Okay, then last is lease. ठीक है, now lease में भी there are long term leases, जो है बहुत सालों के लिए lease में properties अगर आप लेते हो, so you are basically as good as owner. Okay, then you should be assessed for income from house property, not the lesser, correct? तो वही logic यहाँ पे है. A person who acquires any right under section 269 UA clause small f, okay, in or with respect to a building or part thereof by way of lease agreement for a period of not less than 12 years. In a lease agreement of 12 years or more. Okay, if you have a lease agreement of 12 years or more, then you will be deemed owner. Okay, you will be liable to house property tax. Okay, this is what this point says. अब यहाँ पे one more thing, lease period should not be less than 12 years including extension period. Lease में many times what happens, you have say 4 years lease you have signed, now you will have right to extend for another 8 years. So lease period should not be less than 12 years including extension period. Okay, yeah, remember here that what is now not counted, lease from month to month or for a period not exceeding 1 year. ठीक है, so यहाँ पे जैसे मैं बोल रहा हूँ, ठीक है, let us see one example, you will understand it. वो example देख के हमको समझ में आ जाएगा. Okay, so here let us say X lets out a property to Y Okay, on a lease of 9 years. Lease is 9 years. We know that if the lease is for 12 years or more, then Miss Miss Y will become deemed owner. Okay, if lease is for 12 years or more, Miss Y will become deemed owner. House property tax she will have to pay. Otherwise, X will have to pay. So, which is why it is important to understand whether Miss Y is becoming deemed owner or not. Okay, so the lease is of 9 years, but she has a right to renew lease for a further period of 3 years. So, add the renewing period. So 9 plus 3 is 12 years, correct? And you need 12 years or more. So for 12 years, she has the power to extend. Correct? So it is fine. So that means Miss Y will be the deemed owner. Okay. But here, if you see another case, same case, say lease is 9 years. That is same. Okay. For the other 3 years, if renewal is subject to the condition that it will be renewed for 11 months each time. So it is extension for less than 12 months, correct? So, okay, extension here you see, 1 minute. See what is not counted, lease from month to month. So any monthly lease or any period not exceeding 1 year, any period of less than 12 months, even if it is 11 months, 29 days. Okay, still it will not be counted. So here they are saying in 11 months it will be renewed. So this 3 years renewal, now you cannot add to 9. So now your lease period is only 9, which you will consider as per this section. Okay, so if it is 9, then now who will be the deemed owner in the second case? So Miss Y will not be the deemed owner. Okay, so the registered owner will have to pay house property tax in the second case. Is this clear? Or any doubt in this?
No, sir. From me, no.
Okay, everyone is fine. Chalo. Okay, so now these are 5 conditions of deemed owner, very important, so you have to remember. Okay, just remember in a simple way, the way I explained it to you. Okay, you don't have to kind of learn the whole thing like this, entire paragraphs. You only need to know what it is. Okay, and you should be able to just write one sentence out of it, what is a deemed owner. So this will be useful in solving problems also. There can be separate short note also about deemed owner. Okay, so if a short note is asked, then expectation will not be that you will write too many things here. You have to write the main points in one sentence on it. That is enough. Okay, and this section, if you do not remember, that is okay. Okay, it's not important to quote sections here, right? So first 2 conditions, buildings or land, but not the deemed owner, the original one. Building or land appertaining that to SSC must be the owner of the property. With owner, we talked about deemed owner. Okay. A third condition was property should not be used for own business or profession. Okay. 1 moment, I'll just put my charger on. Property is not used for business or profession carried on by the SSC. Okay. So if he is carrying his own business or profession, then annual value is not chargeable to tax under section 22, that is income from house property. It goes to PGBP tax. Okay. So this case we'll see in chapter of PGBP, such taxation. Okay. That is if it is used for his own business or profession. If it is not used for own business or profession, okay, then it comes under house property tax. Okay. So these are so we have completed the definition part. Now we'll see some examples of incidental letting. Okay, examples of incidental letting. So where your letting means what? Giving on rent. Letting का मतलब है rent में देना. ठीक है, इसको letting बोलते हैं. तो अब हम देखेंगे ऐसे examples, ठीक है, जहां पे लेटिंग को बिजनेस से रिलेटेड माना गया, इसीलिए उसका रेंट हाउस प्रॉपर्टी में नहीं पीजीबीपी में टैक्स किया गया. We are seeing those cases where letting has been it was held that such letting should be taxed under PGBP. Okay. One is letting out to employees. If you are letting it out to employees as your guest house or in any way, okay, that is for aiding your business. That is considered as aiding your business. So it will be PGBP, taxed under PGBP. Letting out to government agencies. So there was an SSC who what he did, he had his organization in the same building. There he let it out to the remaining places. He let out to a post office. Okay. A post office and some other government offices. Okay. And by letting this to these people, it aided his business. His business became very easy. So specifically, he wanted to let it out to these government people. Okay, because whatever was his business, he got helped in his business. So it was whatever rent he got for this post office and whatever the other rents were, it was considered as deemed as business income. Okay, so this is letting out to government agencies. That is that's what comes under this. Okay, letting to ancillary units. See, ancillary unit means now if I have, this is my manufacturing organization. Okay. And now this is some company from where I have to purchase my raw material. Okay. So here I am purchasing raw material from this. So if I am finding out some space which I own, okay, and I am letting it out to this, I will do, why will I let it out to this company? So that it becomes easy for me to procure goods, correct? So in this case also it will be incidental to business. And incidental or ancillary units means other units on which you have got some dependence. Okay, that is the supply of raw material or things like that. Okay, now next point what you're going to see is letting out of property for promotion of own business. So now this is all promotion of own business to government agencies. Ancillary units means we're doing it for aiding your business. That's what they mean by promotion of business. Okay, not talking about only advertisement here, right? So and versus business of letting out property. The second is business of letting out property means I have 20 houses. I am letting them out. Every month I go and collect rent from them. Okay. So that is business of letting out property. So the second part will be income from house property. Even if you have 100 houses, but you are giving it on rent and collecting rent only, correct? Not doing any business out of it. You are collecting rent. If you are collecting rent, then it will be income from house property, even if you are doing it for 100 houses. So second one is house property. First one is these examples which we have already seen. These are first one example. These are all business income. Okay, understood? So here only the second one is house property. So you can automatically understand that the first one is business income, right? So now some special cases we'll see. First one is foreign property. Now house property in a foreign country. Okay, so if house property is situated abroad, then annual value is nothing but your taxable value as per income from house property. Okay, so here for ordinarily resident OR always taxable. Okay, for NOR and NR income must be received in India, only then it will be taxable. So this part is, see, what we saw yesterday, your incidence of tax table 2 days back, whatever, your incidence of tax table, there we had seen this kind of condition in incidence of tax. Okay, which was for other income. Okay, so in that case, we saw that for NOR and NR, okay, if income is not received in India, it was not taxable. Okay, in that table you can see. It's actually fully based on that table, this one. For OR, it is always taxable. You can remember this. Property abroad. For NOR and NR, it is not taxable unless income is received in India. Now, annual value would be computed as if the property is situated in India. What it means is as if the property is situated in India, meaning is that the rules of computation, there the rules of computation will be different, correct? Here the way we compute and they compute. So we will compute on our rules only. That's what we are trying to say here. Okay. Next is disputed ownership. Sometimes in property disputes and all are quite common. Okay. So if there is disputed ownership, then whoever receives the rental income or whoever is enjoying the possession, he is accessible to tax. Okay. For disputed ownership. Next point is composite rent. This is also an important point. Composite rent means rent of building plus other charges. So charges for some services, or you have been given some other assets. Okay, for example, you have taken a furnished house. Okay, or you are being given some services there. Okay, so rent of buildings. So one will be pure for building rent. Okay, so we can say that if you break down any rent for building, it's for the house. Say you are paying 15K for the house. House rent is that much. But say he is giving you some facility. Okay. So he's giving you some AC, things like that. Okay. Other facilities, furnishings he is giving. Okay. So then for that furnishing, if he's giving with furnishing, he's charging 25K from you. Okay. This kind of things you would have seen in normal life. They say unfurnished house you get for less. If you want a fully furnished house with TV, fridge, everything, you are charged more, correct? So this is what we are talking about. Okay. And so furnishing comes under other assets, you can say, but many times there are some services also which are provided. Okay. Here, for example, they provided food facility, that becomes a service. Okay, this comes under service. Okay, so this is called as composite rent, where you are giving rent of building, okay, plus you are giving rent for other services or other assets. Okay, right? So then here what happens? So again, the same thing is repeated. Composite rent is equals to what? Rent for building plus rent for assets or charge for services. Okay, this is your composite rent. So now we have to know what should be the tax treatment. How much of this will be charged to tax under income from house property? So tax treatment of composite rent. Okay, so they've just given some examples for you. Rent includes charges for amenities or services like garden facility, okay, food, lighting, etc. Other separable assets like machinery, plant, just elaboration, that's all. Okay, so now let us see here. So what is taxability? Now we have come to the important point where we are interested, taxability. Of what? Of composite rent. If segregation is possible, okay, if segregation is possible, that means what? You can easily separate out the rent of house plus rent of furnishing. Okay. If segregation is possible, then some received for use of building will be income from house property. Okay. For use of building will be income from house property, and some received for other amenities or separable assets will be PGBP or IOS. Okay. So if segregation is possible, you are able to segregate. Okay. Here, if segregation is not possible, that is, you are getting the whole thing as one only. So he is given, we are giving it out only furnished and 25,000 is the rent. That's what they are saying. So if that is the case, segregation is not possible. Okay. Then whole amount is taxable as what? PGBP or IOS. So if there is no segregation, then you take it as business income fully. Okay. If it is, for example, if it's business, you can see business activity, then it will be business income. But if it is solitary transaction, something like that, it will be IOS, income from other sources. Okay. So right? So if segregation is not possible, whole amount will be taxable as PGBP or IOS. So not income from house property. If you can segregate, then use of building is income from house property. Okay. So this is one of the reason rent of paying guest, because paying guest is always service. You stay there and they give you food and all. Okay, like that. Some facilities they will give you a cot to sleep, like that. Okay. So that's why rent of paying guest is always income from other sources. Okay. Why not business income? Because PG is normally not a business. Normally, many houses, what they do, they have one room extra and they give it for PG. That's kind of solitary transaction. Okay. So rent from paying guest is always chargeable to taxes. Income from other sources. Now, letting of building with inseparable assets, like factories. A factory, can you take factory without the machinery and all which are inbuilt? No. Okay, so this is that example. In this case, if letting of only building is not possible, which normally will not be possible or not acceptable to the other party. So even if say you are able to quote like this, like this, you're saying factory, take only my factory for 50K. If you want equipment in it, 25K. Okay. Will anyone take your factory without equipment? No. So this is, although you are quoting separately, this will be treated as one. Okay. So this will be chargeable to taxes PGBP, not as income from other sources, although you have a bifurcation available. Because here it is very clear that factory will be taken along with equipment. Okay. So here there is no segregation possible. So there will be cases, for example, you take a hotel room. Okay. So will you take hotel room without the other? You have bed in hotel. Okay. You have whatever AC facilities. Okay. All those are, many things are there, right, in hotel. So if you have gone to hotel and other accessories are not there, you will not go, right? Customers will not go. So that is a very good example. Hotel will always be PGBP. Okay. So this is also, it's basically a little bit of, you can say, case to case basis also. Rent from properties is business income or IOS, even if composite rent is segregable. Okay. Like what I showed you. Even if you can segregate it, still if things like this, if it is a factory or it is a hotel room, then there's no question of segregating, because you cannot take it separately. Okay. You will not take a factory for rent and you will not start living there. Okay. You're taking a factory for rent or working on it only, right? Example, letting out of hotel rooms, auditoriums and all that. Clear? This is about your composite rent. Okay. If you are all fine, I can just continue for another 10 minutes or so, if that is okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay. So now, so next point is co-ownership. Now, co-ownership is when there are two people who are owner of one house. Okay, that's called as co-ownership. Two or more person own a house property jointly. Okay, they are called as co-owners. So this is something you see very much in your daily life. You all, I'm sure you all would have seen instances of co-ownership. Okay. Individual share of each co-owner is definite and ascertainable, and share of each such person is income from house property. Okay. So basically, what in co-ownership, what you see, how you see it is, okay. So normally it is like this co-ownership. You have got, say, one house. Here I have one house. Okay. And this half is mine, the other half is, let us say, my sister's. Okay. This is co-owner, this is co-owner. So basically, now this part is not separately registered. Okay. This whole house is registered and there are two owners, me and my sister, let us say. Okay. Two people are co-owners of this house. Right. So here, what is important to see is, what was I trying to say? I just lost that. 1 minute. right? The share of each co-owner is definite and ascertainable. So here what happens is that is co-owner, what I showed you in the diagram. Okay. So but what happens, see, normally when nothing is mentioned, you are just co-owners, then you're always 50% co-owners. There are two people, 50% co-owners. If there are three people, 1/3 share is there. If nothing is mentioned, it is always half. Okay, it goes half to the co-owners. Nothing is mentioned. Okay, so share is always definite and ascertainable that way. In some case, okay, there can be mentioned that you are a 60% co-owner, you are a 40% co-owner. So normally it is quite easy to find out the share of these people. Okay, most cases it is 50% co-ownership. But if nothing is mentioned, if there is no, you have inherited the property, automatically you will get a 50% share. Okay, so if share of each co-owner is definite and ascertainable, that means that share should be known, which normally is the case. Okay, then it is income from house property. Okay, each of them can claim benefit under self-occupied house property. Interest on loan allowable to all separately is 30,000. This is not upon, this is 30,000 or 2 lakhs. Okay, so these two things you'll come to learn as we go ahead. So everyone gets a self-occupied house property. So you can, two house property are exempt for you. There is no tax. If you are using for your own staying purpose, two properties you can use, however big, however small. Okay, if you have a big huge palace, okay, if you have two huge palace, 1 square kilometer, okay, please be on mute. Okay, so okay, so if say you have a huge palace of 1 square kilometer, that's also considered as one house. It's one unit in at the end of that, correct? So like that, any two houses you can use for your own residence. Okay, that is allowed. So for co-owners, how it is seen is both of them have one house. It is seen like that. Okay, so each of the co-owner will get this exemption. That's what they are trying to say. Okay, both will get. Similarly, interest on loan, if this person has taken interest on loan, he will get deduction of the maximum limit. So maximum limit is 30,000 or 2 lakhs. You will see that little later on, not today. Okay, so both will get loan facility also, loan deduction also. So it will, in co-ownership, it will be considered like you have a separate house, the other co-owner has a separate house. It will be considered like that. Okay. So all benefits which you get for an independent house, this person will also get all that benefits, this person will also get. Okay. Now partners property used by firm, that is a partnership firm, and the firm is using a partner's property. Okay. So it is considered as business carried on by partner in his own house. Okay. Considered as business carried on by the partner in his own house, not taxable as income from house property. It is taxable as PGBP. Okay. So this is what normally it happens whenever you have partnership, 3-4 partners are there. If any one partner has a good property, then they use it as office or office things like that. Okay. So that is your partner's property used by firm. It is seen as if you are doing business, okay, in your own house. So it doesn't come under income from house property. Okay, PGBP. So partner's property used as firm, PGBP. Just remember that much. Okay, next is property held as stock in trade. Here, see, I'll tell you what some background of this. Okay, if it is held as stock in trade and not let out during any part of the previous year, it's important. You should not let it out. You are holding it as your stock in trade. That is, you are going to sell it. Okay, then annual value will be up to 2 years from the end of previous year in which certificate of completion of construction is obtained from competent authority. So up to 2 years from the end of financial year when you got certificate of completion of construction. Okay. For that, till that time, your annual value is nil. Okay. Right. So this, why this was done is for stock in trade. See, for builders, what happened when this provision started, when this provision was first introduced, this was not there before. Okay, it's a recent provision. So when this started, actually say you have, uh, let's say you have got a builder. Okay, a builder will have several flats, correct? You'll have several flats here. So as soon as the construction is completed, we all know that it takes about 2-3 years for one scheme to get sold fully. Okay, 2-3 years at least. So now for whatever flats are unsold, say will be many, okay. If he has to pay rent for all of them, then just think of it. If he has 500,000 houses and he has to start paying deemed rent for all of those vacant houses, then it will be a problem, correct? So that's why it has been, the rule now is that whenever the certificate of completion of construction is obtained, okay. So for example, say this is your first year, okay. Okay, this is your first year. Here you have obtained certificate of completion of construction year. Say this is somewhere around August, September. Okay. So till the end of this year, this is the end of this year. And after that for 2 more years. Okay. After that for 2 more years, you will not be taxed on house property. So you have this much time to sell your flats. After this period, okay, after this 2 year period ends, okay, from here you will be taxed for uh, any flat which is not sold. You will be charged rent for that. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah, Ronak. So you want some dates, so I'll give you some dates. So let us say this red one, which this red line here. Okay. Let us say this is 2018-19. Okay. And I'm saying 2018-19, that is 1st April 2018 to 31st March 2019. Okay. This is this red line fully. Okay. And this particular part, when I've got completion of construction, certificate of completion. Okay. So this is, let us say, October 2018. Okay. So from here till end of this year will be how much? 31st March 2019, correct? This is 31st March 2019. Till here, you don't have to pay tax. Now, from the end of this year, you have 2 years. So it is till 31st March 2020, till 31st March 2021, no tax. Got it? Okay. So this is your property held as stock in trade, right? And then you have got Ronak.
Sir, if the construction is completed on, let's say 31st of March, or 31st of March 2019, or in second example, if it is completed on 4th of April 2019, so can you take that example and again explain that concept to me? Uh,
4th of, you give me the date of
4th of
completion of
April
construction.
2019, if it is completed on 4th or 2nd of April 2019.
4th of April 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, this
Uh,
completed. This is completed. Okay.
uh,
Okay. So you have received certificate of completion of construction from the competent authority on this date. Okay.
Sir, no sound, sir.
Is everyone able to hear me?
yes, sir. Like at least I am able
Anyone?
to hear you.
Anyone not able to hear me? Kanakraj, I think it would be some issue at your end actually, because others are able to hear. Okay, so right. So another way is just go to the video when it comes up, and you can see on video. If the voice is being picked on the video, then that is one more thing that the voice is okay from this end. Okay. Otherwise, it will not be picked on the video. Okay. So able to hear me now, Kanagaraj? Okay. I think yeah, there is some issue at your end because we are also not able to hear you. Right. So here then 4th April 2019 is the date. Okay. What is the end of this year? Tell me, Ronak.
31st March 2020.
Okay, 2020. Okay. Now from here we want 2 years. What is the end of next year?
End of next year is 2021.
This is 2021.
Okay.
This is 2022. Next will be 2022. Correct.
Okay.
This will be 2023.
So I think the first one will be 31st March 2020, na?
Yeah, you are right. It will be 20. This will be 2020. This will be 2021, and this will be 2022. Okay. So from here, after this date, he will be taxed after this date.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So now next is doctrine of mutuality. Okay. Next we're going to talk about doctrine of mutuality. Just a moment. Let me just see. Yeah, fine. So this is where I wanted to end it for your tomorrow's session. Okay, so we're almost there. Just give me 2 more minutes, we'll be done. Okay, so tomorrow you'll be having problems on this chapter. Okay, so just revise this, whatever we have learned now till here, just revise it nicely. Okay, now so doctrine of mutuality means, see, if you have got any club or something, any mutual organization, okay, any organization which is mutual, okay, so then property income is exempt for it. Okay, like any income is exempt for a mutual association, property income is also exempt. Only thing is that they cannot take the property income away. They cannot take it out of their mutual organization. Okay, so if in a club has a house also, now within the club they need some dwelling place also, and they collect rent for that. They're collecting rent, but again it is used for the club only. Nobody is taking anything out. Then it becomes a mutual thing. It will be exempt. Okay, got it? Any question you can ask me on that. Okay, it's basically it runs on a no profit no loss basis. That is, see, this is basically, these are for recreation. People put their money and they use that for their recreation. Anything which they are earning out of that recreation place, that is also put in that only. Nobody is taking that out for enjoyment, taking out that income. Okay, so that's why it is exempt. Now next is, there are certain properties which are exempted. This is very simple, a list I'll show you. Okay, and after that we'll this is computation of income under house property. Okay, so this part, exempted properties, see, these things are exempted. Okay, any of rent of these properties are exempted. One is one palace of X ruler. Okay, for ruler, however big that palace is, one palace is exempt. Okay, if one part is self-occupied and he has let out the others, the self-occupied part will be exempt, because there are several rulers in several basically units in ruler's palace and all. They are huge palaces. Okay, now nowadays basically, they are not that rich as they were before, so they rent it out and all that. So which is why, if whichever part they are living in, that is exempt, whatever is being let out, that will be treated as let out. Okay, this is one. And then self-occupied part here is exempted. This is for ruler. Okay, ex-ruler. Basically, there are no more kingships and townships now, right? There are no princely states and all right now. So which is why you'll call as ex-ruler. House property of a local authority. Okay, any municipality and all, if their building is there, it's exempt from tax. House property of approved scientific research association. House property of educational institution. Okay, any educational institution. Section 1023C lists out certain educational institutions. Okay, so all those educational institutions, house property is exempt from tax. Hospital, house property is exempt. If you are a resident of Ladakh, you don't have to pay house property tax for any house there in Ladakh. House property of a political party exempt. Trade union exempt. Farmhouse exempt. House property held for charitable purpose. If it's a charitable organization, house property exempt from tax. Last is house property used for own business or profession. Only thing is that last one is this exempt under house property, but is taxable under PGBP. Okay. Here under exempt you have got this because it is exempt under this section. Taxable but taxable under PGBP. The others are, they are exempt fully. Exempt under Income Tax Act. Okay. 11th one is exempt for house property only. Okay. So these are all basics which we have completed for our house property. Give me just 2 more minutes because little bit I just want to say, and then after that, it will be easy for your tomorrow's session. Okay, almost done. Okay, so these are various kinds of income which are chargeable to tax under income from house property. One is a let out property. Okay, property not actually occupied by owner. This means that he is not able to occupy because his work is in some other city. Okay, that's why he has his houses vacant now. Okay, so self-occupied property, all these things separately we'll see. Partly set out, partly self-occupied, partly let out. This is you have stayed there for 6 months. For the next 6 months, you have let it out. Okay, this is that. So these are the things. There are different types. Okay, this we will not talk now. This is like after you learn how to compute and all. This is after that. This is just for remembering in short. Okay, so this you don't need now. And so this table continues from here. It will not come in the notes here, so I have put it down. After 23.3, you've got here, see 23.4, 23.4 and 23 and 25. Okay, this is deemed to be let out property. So any house property over 2 houses is deemed to be let out. Okay, and this is recovery. If in any future year you have recovered any arrears of rent. Okay, so then what is to be done? All these things. So we are not going into this below part. Okay, this part we will see later. So now I only want to show you this one thing, which is how let out property income is computed. Okay, particulars. First is you have got something called gross annual value. Gross annual value less municipal tax. Okay, will give you net annual value. Gross annual value less municipal tax will give you net annual value less deductions okay, deductions under section 24. Under section 24 there are 2 deductions. One is standard deduction and another one is interest on borrowed capital. From net annual value you will get these 2 deductions. Standard deduction is flat 30% of NAV and interest on borrowed capital is next, and then last, so you get income from house property. So you'll use this format more and more and you will get very much used to it. Okay, so I think that is it for now. I actually wanted to complete till here. So from these problems, Shivam is going to take you through. Okay, but I think we are short of time now. So I will continue from here in my next session. Okay, so tomorrow you can just go ahead and do the problems. Now you will be able to do the problems. You will understand. Okay, the problems and all. Right. So in the next session, I'll just start from here. Okay. Thank you then. Any questions you want to ask?
So will you post the PDF form of this session?
Yes,
sir?
I'll
This
post it
chapter.
tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'll post the PDF of this.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay then. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank,
sir.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.